As we all navigate through life after Wednesday morning's shooting, we turn to those who have been through it for advice. Nicole Hockley lost her son Dylan 13 years ago. He was murdered in his first grade classroom at Sandy Hook Elementary in Newtown, Connecticut. We started our conversation with her talking about him.
I always want to talk about my son. He was incredibly cuddly and loved to laugh and giggle. He admired and adored his older brother, Jake. He ate fish fingers and garlic bread all the time and loved chocolate and the color purple. And, I only had 6 years with him, but he is still with me in my heart every single day.
What actually helped you in those first few weeks, in those first few months?
Healing is an interesting word, and one that I don't tend to use a lot because I'm nearly 13 years after Dylan's murder and I am not healed, and I don't think I ever will be healed. It's about moving through and forward, not moving on. But I think the things that I remember being helpful are friends who were able to hold me up and support me. And whether it was a meal train or whether it was taking me to the florist to choose flowers for Dylan's memorial service or his urn, helping me understand getting relatives in and offering their homes for people to stay at. If it hadn't been for friends taking charge to lead things like his funeral, I had no idea what to do, where to go, how. You can't think in those times.
I imagine it's frustrating. It's 13 years since you lost Dylan this way.
I do have significant outrage that this keeps happening, and especially because there are so many solutions to prevent these acts, and this school shooting was a preventable tragedy, as was Sandy Hook, as was almost every single school shooting you can think of. And the fact that we have the solutions but don't necessarily have the courage or the will to put them into place across the country is very frustrating. I get outraged as well with people who just point to politicians not doing their jobs. I don't think this is just about policy. I think this is about all of us, and whether that's advocating for policy change, or whether it's bringing violence prevention programs in school, whether that's recognizing warning signs and saying something, we all have a role to play. And if we are just left in hopelessness or thinking someone else is going to take care of it, then we are allowing this problem to continue. And our children are dying. And if that can't compel you to action, I'm not quite sure what would.
How can the community support, but also how can the community move ahead? I imagine that healing is a whole nother process.
We advocate for things like extreme risk protection orders, which in time we'll find out if that could have been used here to help prevent this tragedy. We also advocate for suicide prevention and school violence prevention. We've been incredibly successful. We've stopped, as a direct result of our training, 18 school shootings already. But then things like yesterday happen, and we realize that no matter how fast and hard we work, we still have a long way to go to keep all children safe.
13 years ago, 10 first graders and 6 educators were killed at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut. It ignited a movement in our country that has snowballed since. Erin Hassanzadeh spoke to Nicole Hockley, who is the mother of one of those first graders.
Yeah, we did some of this interview on the 4, and I know you have more for us as well.
Yeah, Nicole lost her son, Dylan. He was just 6 years old, and ever since, she's been fighting for change as the CEO of Sandy Hook Promise. She's a co-founder, too, and that is a group that is changing laws, doing trainings, advocating for these conversations. And she tells me, as hard as it is to hear this, that she believes the shooting here was preventable.
Someone knew that this person needed help, was in crisis, was potentially in crisis for harming himself or harming others, and should have said something. So I think helping people understand what the signs are and that they need to act immediately and take it seriously and to tell someone when they see it, that could have prevented this.
She also mentioned that Minnesota has something called extreme risk protection orders. That allows certain people to request an order from the court to temporarily stop someone from purchasing or possessing a firearm during a period of crisis when they could hurt themselves or others. So she tells me that more people need to be aware of that option to intervene and prevent future tragedies.
Knowing that these acts are preventable, knowing that we can take action, and knowing that if all I do is fall into hopelessness, I'm not actually helping make change happen. None of us should be hopeless because all of these acts are preventable, and there are actions that we can take that will make a meaningful difference and help save the lives of others.
Now think about this, 35 million people in our country have been through trainings provided by Sandy Hook Promise. They say that their work has stopped 18 school shootings. And so if you ever wonder the power that we have as community members or parents, I think Nicole is a great example of what we can all do. And I want to issue a correction. I think we had a typo there. 20 students were killed at Sandy Hook. We said 10, but 20, including Dylan. And it's sad to think she only got 6 years with her son. She's been spending much more time than she got with her son fighting for other people's children. Yeah.
And I know that you also have this interview with her because it seems pretty powerful, just the things that she's saying, and advice that she has. It's on YouTube?
Yes, it is on our WCCO YouTube page, so I encourage you all to watch it. She has good advice for the community as a whole.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, Erin.
Thanks, Erin.